Okay, Yauheniya, so let's take a look at this set of essays you've sent us. Remember that it's very helpful if you include the image. We need it to refer to when we correct these. But let's take a look at what you've written here. This is about the map of the island. The map illustrates the changes on the island performed after the town was founded. Overall, after being an uninhabited territory, it has been modernized by smart infrastructure with roadways as well as a variety of multi-purpose facilities. Okay, this is fine, but there are a few things that I would change if I could. First of all, the map illustrates, there's two maps. So the before and the after. So the map illustrates the changes on an island. Well, it should be how the map island was, and then the changes that took place. I wouldn't say it was founded. We don't really know that. All we know is that facilities were built. Okay. So I want to change around this sentence to make it more accurate and more representative of what it is you're looking at. So maybe it could be something like the map shows an island before and after construction with tourist facilities were built. Okay, something like that would have been okay. Overall, after being an uninhabited territory, it has been modernized by smart infrastructure with roadways. Okay, and the rest of it's fine. So moving on. Firstly, it can be seen that the wild island used to be about a 300-meter long plain with moderate vegetation on it. If initially there were no suitable living conditions for people, after the urbanization began, 2 living areas had been erected. Maybe were erected, not had been erected. In detail, one accommodation block to the west of the town one accommodation block to the west of the town, divided by the road, get rid of being, is located now next to the beach, whereas another one has been built closer to the center. Not being, get rid of that, designed in the shape of a circle with access to an artificial lake. The shopping mall, cafeteria, and hotel have been constructed between accommodation sectors, rounded by footpaths and vehicle tracks that connect not only each building, but also the pier where boats can be docked at. Finally, the woods have been preserved to the northeast of the island. Okay. This feels somewhat short. I mean, you covered it all, but what's missing for me is, I'll tell you. So you talked about this, okay? And that's really all you say about the first image. I thought you might have not necessarily talked more about it, but you could have referenced all of this by indicating that these were changes, that these were new additions. And that's what was missing for me. So just to be clearer, you did do it. You did say that certain things were built and certain things were constructed. But there were a couple places where the reference was a little strange. Like, for example, when you said, where did it go? Hold on. I think I just lost it. Okay, yeah. So you said that it is located next to the beach. It's not located. It didn't just appear there. It was built. It was constructed. There was some other way you could have done it. And also the reference to the pier. Again, don't worry about being repetitive using constructed, built, and so forth. There are other ways to phrase this, but make sure that it's clear that this isn't just something that happened, but human intervention took place and it was built. So, and I think you did the same thing with the artificial lake. There we go. Yeah. So, for example, mention that an artificial lake was created where in the past there was nothing. All right, there was just land. So this is the kind of stuff I wanted. A little more reference, like more comparison between the before and the after, and then just more of this language that shows that things were created, things were built, things were constructed, things were erected. So this kind of language, okay? But on the whole, I think you did a nice job. So let's take a look at your task 2 now. About green energy, fine. Okay. Experts from both developing and developed countries have debated the contentious issue of renewable energy. Some people are convinced that this is extraordinarily beneficial for the economy and the environment, while others argue it can cause far-reaching repercussions on energy security. This essay will cover both sides by using examples from Harvard University and World Health Organization to demonstrate points and prove arguments. All right, now I want to see this a little different. Let me tell you why. It says very clearly, discuss both views and give your opinion. You have not given your opinion. Okay, you've told us what the two different views are, but we're missing this, and this is very important. Remember that if you look at the band descriptors for task achievement under band 7, it says a clear position can be found throughout the response. Throughout means from the beginning to the end. And the easiest way to do that, the clearest way to do that, is to include your position in the introduction. Okay? So do not forget that. Anytime they ask for your opinion, you really want to put it in your introduction. So let's continue. Oh, another thing. Capitalize your U, capitalize your H and your O. These are titles, and so they should be capitalized. All right. So there is ample evidence that eco-friendly approaches to generate power without depleting the Earth's mineral supply have a remarkable impact on hindering expenses on fossil fuels as well as limiting climate changes. Okay, that sentence was a little awkward for me. Let's see if we can clean it up a little bit. There's ample evidence that eco-friendly power that does not deplete the earth. Yeah, this just feels like so much. Maybe we should clean that up even further. There is ample evidence that eco-friendly power has a remarkable impact on, we don't really say hindering expenses, has a remarkable impact on lessening expenses as well as limiting climate change, singular. So I think the sentence reads better and says essentially the same thing. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, if a country produced energy from only renewable resources, such as sun, water, or even wind, it would allow its economy to become completely independent from the market of petrol, oil, and gas, which could improve citizens' quality of life. Secondly, alternative energy resources implementation, alternative energy, not alternative energy, maybe implementation. I don't know. There's something awkward about this expression. Reduces the carbon footprint dramatically, consequently might hamper the greenhouse gas effect. For example, as recent Harvard research indicated, if only a billion people refused automobiles with internal combustion I can't speak today, engines in favor of electric ones, it would plummet carbon emissions by 35%. Therefore, it is clear there is a considerably strong case demonstrating the positive effect of sustainable power on global warming. I'm trying to understand your grammar here. Yeah, if only doesn't work with inversion here. So I like the effort, but it doesn't work like this. Maybe if it was only if a billion people refused, would something happen? It's a different structure, but it's a nice effort. Let's continue. Although green energy can be considered as an advantageous option to delay or even terminate ecological cataclysms, its safety drawbacks should not be overstated. I don't think you mean that. I think you mean its safety drawbacks should not be overlooked. That makes more sense. This is largely because highly productive nuclear power plants mainly are constructed and erected in accordance with obsolete technologies of the mid-70s. That is why outdated mechanisms are not able to withstand the plethora of force majeure challenges that might lead to irreversible damage. For example, WHO has been shown that due to the Chernobyl catastrophe in 1986, provoked by chains of unforeseen technical and human mistakes, no apostrophe S here, not only were millions of hectares of soil contaminated with radioactive isotopes, quantity of thyroid cancer patients also skyrocketed 12-fold. Thus, it's possible to state beyond doubt that there are also serious shortcomings, some types of green energy. All right, so be careful because nuclear energy is not exactly considered green energy. It's like in a category of its own. Obviously, it's not fossil fuels, but it's also not considered green energy. When we think of green energy, we think of wind power, solar power, water power, these kinds of things, but not nuclear energy. And so this isn't entirely accurate. Also, when we're talking about energy safety, this is not what we mean. We mean the availability of energy that fulfills a demand, okay, and is also available at an affordable cost. So this is what energy security talks about. So I feel like your interpretation here in this paragraph was a little off. In conclusion, although some sustainable power production could fail to ensure total security of both population and nature, I wholeheartedly believe that alternative energy resources would induce an abundance of positive changes worldwide. I'm not really crazy about this word induce. It is predicted that the importance of eco-friendly resources will ceaselessly grow in the foreseen future. Ceaselessly also is not really accurate. So I liked a lot of this, but I feel like in certain places the vocabulary was wrong. It wasn't particularly precise, although I like that you're making an effort to use less common vocabulary. Some of these didn't really entirely work in your favor, so be careful with them. If you're going to use a combination of words like this ceaselessly grow, check it out in an online dictionary to see if these words collocate, okay? That's an important step. So go ahead, correct these. I'm not sure, is this your last set? I believe it is. So I'd like to see more work from you. I'd like to see more essays. I'd like to see what you're doing, and I'd like to continue working with you. So let's see how we can do that. Take a look at the links you'll get in this email, and I want to wish you lots of luck.